For too long, you felt like a victim of fate. Like bad luck was a force you could never escape. But what if I told you that you could permanently reverse that? That inside your body is an energy center that ancient masters called the Gate of Destiny. It's an unstoppable power source that can destroy unconscious blocks to your success, align you with your true destiny, and ensure that nothing can ever stop you again. The navel center is the physical powerhouse of the body. Without a fully charged and balanced lower center, it is impossible to be healthy or have any power in life. Because it is from the navel center that a person finds the courage to make choices and to take actions towards their goals. This is where all of the chi, the prana, the life force energy is stored and processed. So you probably knew a lot of the things that I just said, but you may not understand that the navel center, which in shamanism is called the lower self, is where the unconscious mind is housed. And this is extremely important because it is our unconscious mind that actually has 90+% of the programming within us. That is where we are programmed to either be successful or to be a failure, to be healthy, to be proud, to be timid, to be weak, to be strong. It is programmed within our unconscious mind. So if we don't have the ability to access it, to balance it, and to strengthen it, we won't even be able to have a normal life. We won't even be able to know where we're supposed to go or what we're supposed to do or to take actions. If we can unlock the gate of destiny, then our soul can tap into our true destiny that we came here to experience in planet Earth. There's an even deeper mystery to the lower Dantian. There is a magical energy gate in the navel center that normally stays dormant, even within very successful people. If someone is able to activate this hidden energy portal, they can achieve mastery over the entire Earth. But to do that, they need access to higher dimensional energy to awaken the deity that sleeps within their own navel center. All right, so that might sound a little poetic, but again, we're tapping into deep spiritual concepts here. So it's one thing just to be a successful person, to be happy, be healthy, to take actions, do the things that normal people do. But if you want to be somebody who taps into the spiritual power of the navel center, now this is something that has been kept secret for a very long time. But when you understand that there is actually a hidden gate within your navel center that, if awakened, will awaken perhaps the most powerful deity that exists in the third dimension. So 2,000 years ago, Maoshan Taoists were visited by higher dimensional light beings who revealed that within the lower energy center there was a deity whom they called the primordial king. This was the same creator god that the Hindus called Brahma, the creator of the entire universe. If a person was able to learn the meditations to awaken this deity within their navel, they could have the power to create whatever they wished. It's also rumored that they would have the power to be the king, the emperor of the entire planet. The power to accomplish this is within that secret center, within the gate of destiny in our navel center. In this 3D Earth simulation, without the protection of the primordial king, a human is assaulted by negative spiritual forces designed to bring bad luck, disaster, sickness, and all manner of misfortune. The Maoshan Taoists learned that in order to avoid this bad luck, disaster, and sickness, they needed to activate the inner gate of destiny and awaken the primordial king. This level of power was thought to be too dangerous for the average person, so they kept it secret. So these forces of bad luck and disaster are mentioned as being the manifold demons of the third dimensional earth. And these manifold demons are actually programs within our three-dimensional matrix. So if you feel like you're constantly being assaulted by negative energy that's trying to talk you out of your power, that's trying to make you feel guilty, shameful, unworthy, alone, isolated, this is part of what the Maoshan Taoists called the manifold demons. So it's very important because the three centers each have an active role in either fighting, defending, or protecting from these manifold negative influences. So when you awaken the primordial king within the secret gate within your navel center, he actually has the ability to completely fend off all of those negative influences on your unconscious mind. Because of the current Earth shift, the light being immortals have determined that average humans need to be able to activate the hidden gate of destiny and become spiritual rulers of the new Earth. So, 100 years ago, these light beings channeled newer, more powerful techniques to fast-track the awakening process. This included the development of spiritual exercises that channeled the Shi energy into the lower center. So when one combines the Shi energy with the Qi, the gate of destiny is activated instantly. All right, so what we're talking about here is that the ancient Maoshan Taoists 2,000 years ago, they were given very specific meditations. And those meditations had to follow specific rules. And if you followed those meditations and followed the rules and perfected them over a span of 10 years, you could awaken the deities within the centers, and then you could become an immortal. So we are headed into a time now of a tremendous spiritual and energetic shift on this planet. And the immortal light beings have decided that they are going to fast track this process. So they created practices for us that Maoshan Taoists, modern Maoshan Taoists 100 years ago have been working with. And so this is the evolution of this process of opening up these three centers. Today we're talking about opening up the gate of destiny in the navel center. So the new exercises that mix the Shi and the Qi in the navel is called the Hands of Infinity. So before we get into that, I need to explain to you what these two energies are if you're not familiar with them. So everybody's heard of Qi. Qi is life force energy. It is prana. It is, whenever you breathe, you are pulling Qi into your body. Shi is something different. And this is something that the Maoshan Taoists knew, and it was a power that they kept secret. And even the vast majority of Taoists, if you're a Taoist practitioner, you've probably never heard of this energy before. Maybe you've heard of the Shin Bao, maybe you've heard of the heart mind, but you don't realize that there is a higher electromagnetic force that has a direct connection to higher dimensional energies. And this energy, when it is actually released from the Shin Bao, which is the heart protector, when that electromagnetic energy, which normally just protects the soul, is released into the body and the body releases it out into the third dimension, what's happening is you are actually releasing higher dimensional energy that is not part of this dimension. And so the people who had the ability to tap into this, of course, they were seen as wizards, they were seen as sorcerers. And 100 years ago, the Maoshan Taoists started learning how to release this energy, initially for martial arts practice. But then it became something that you could use to send this energy into the third dimension. And this is what the light beings want to bring to our knowledge, because this world is shifting. And in order for us to be able to shift to a higher frequency, we need to actually be able to channel that frequency through our bodies. And so this is what the Maoshan Taoists of 100 years ago started being channeled this energy through them, and they started experimenting with it, and we have been working on it and perfecting it for 100 years. And so the practice that is associated with the gate of destiny, with the primordial king, having to do with the Shi energy, is called the hands of infinity. So this practice that mixes Shi and Qi in the navel is called the hands of infinity. This practice was kept secret from the public out of fear that average people might abuse the power of awakening the primordial king within themselves. But the immortals have asked me to share with the world this incredibly powerful spiritual technology in order to give humans the power to create and govern the new earth that is emerging. Combined with the exercises for the 5 elements, the practices for the middle Dantian and the upper Dantian, these practices give unlimited power to achieve your destiny. So, as I've said before, anybody who's called to these practices that I am sharing with the world, there is a very good chance that your destiny, your spiritual destiny, your higher dimensional destiny, is to be a guardian angel, a protector, to protect people from those manifold evil influences that we talked about, but also to be able to, in a better way to look at it, to banish the third dimension. We release this higher dimensional energy through our bodies, and literally the third dimensional frequency is banished away from us. When enough people start doing this, then the new world will appear in front of us. The higher dimensional immortals that are with us all the time that we can't see because they're in a frequency higher than ours, all of a sudden they will all become visible to us. We will have shifted and gone into their reality. And we have the responsibility to govern that new world. And that power is going to come from the hidden gate of destiny, of awakening the power of the primordial king within each of us. So the complete process of becoming a higher dimensional protector of Earth is a 6-step process. First one is to do any one or all of these practices: summoning the immortals, celestial qigong, warrior 90-day lightning qigong. So if you are familiar with my channel, you already know what those practices are. But let me just be clear about it again. These practices in the first step, you can do all of them, which I would recommend, or you can do one of them, 1, 2, or 3 of them. The only thing that I'm interested in is that you get tapped into the Shi energy, which is that higher dimensional electromagnetic force around the heart. So each one of these, starting with the summoning the immortals qigong, I specifically channeled that energy because I've been talking about this for years, and I know that if you're just somebody that watches my YouTube channel, why should you believe me? You've never heard of these things. There's no way that you can know what the power is of this higher dimensional force unless you experience it. So instead of demanding that everybody do these higher, more complicated practices that I've been sharing for a while now, I created a practice that everybody could do and that everybody could tap into. And to my absolute joy and surprise, it turns out that this is one of the most powerful practices that has ever been given to the world. And so if you want to learn that, the summoning the immortals qigong, then you are going to want to go to thunderwizard.com and you want to click on shop. And you'll see here, you'll scroll around, you'll see all of these Maoshan practices, and then you'll see Maoshan summoning the immortals moving qigong. It's very affordable, and I did that on purpose. Again, it's worth much more because it is so incredibly powerful. But I encourage you to prove me wrong if you've never done these practices. Do that practice, you'll feel the energy, and then you'll know whether or not this is a path that you are called to do or not. The other practices are the Celestial Qigong. So again, if you look here at, if you click on memberships at thunderwizard.com, you see there to the right, Celestial Qigong, the foundation of Maoshan energy work. That is a very powerful practice, and that came from, actually that video is probably 15 years old. And that came from me reverse engineering the higher level practices of the opening up the three dantians and isolating specific hand postures, body postures, and movements that I could tell after having researched it for many years were different from Qigong. Now, Qi again is life force energy and it has to do with the lower center. So I wanted to find out what made the spirit fighting different, and I realized there's a science to it. And so I found all of the specific hand movements, gestures, and some of the specific Qigong movements and postures that actually opened up. It's a fast track to open up the Qi, the electromagnetic higher dimensional energy around the heart. So that is a great place to start as well. So this is why this is part of the first step. So there's Celestial Qigong right there. And then we have in step 1, Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Now to find that, you would go to thunderwizard.com and you would click on memberships. If you click on memberships, you're going to see things like this come up. So you can see it right there, Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. So you want to subscribe to that. The one next to it is the Maoshan Level 1 instructional videos. Don't subscribe to that until after you have purchased the 5 element videos and you started practicing them. But if you're just starting out, go do the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong, and you just click join and get started. So that's step 1. This will get you, just doing that, just let me say this, just getting into step 1, whether you do one or all of those practices in step 1, if you tap into that power, you will already be at an energetic level that is more powerful than a Qigong master or a yoga master. I know how that sounds. The way that I know that is 15 years ago when I created the Celestial Qigong, I had Qigong masters, Tai Chi masters, yoga masters, and they were doing the Celestial Qigong, and they all communicated back to me and they said, we've never felt anything this powerful before. So you want to skip all that? You don't want to spend 20 years doing Qigong or Tai Chi or yoga? Go straight to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. You'll be at a level, a frequency level that is more powerful than anything that even the most powerful esoteric spiritual practices that we've had on planet Earth this whole time. You don't believe me? I totally get it. Prove me wrong. The only way you can prove me wrong is by doing the practices. Okay, so the second step of opening, the second step of this complete process is to do the 5 element spirit fighting forms. Okay, so those, before we start opening up the 3 centers of the body, we have to tap into the higher frequency of the 5 elements. And so there's the 5 elements in the body, the 5 organs, there's the 5 elements in the 3rd dimensional reality. And tapping into that and mastering that, you're already at a huge shamanic level. But the spirit fighting takes it to a higher frequency. So there's a frequency of the 5 elements that are in a higher dimensional frequency, and those have a power of cleansing, a power of destroying negativity, and gives you mastery over these 5 elements and connection with the 5 deities that are the 5 elements. And so that is done by doing the Maoshan 5 element spirit fighting forms. So if you want to tap into those, there's 2 ways to do that. One, you go to thunderwizard.com and you go, you go here to the shop, and you see them. You can see Maoshan spirit fighting, moving forms, water set, fire set, metal set, wood. Start with wood, of course, go in the numbers, and then get all of them. Now, if you want to get all 5 then you go here to maoshan.thunderwizard.com, and you can get all 5 of the 5 elements. So that's the second level. We want to get to that second level and work through those. Now you're ready to tap into the unbelievable power that comes from opening up these 3 dantians with this higher level Shi energy. And now we're getting into the level of, listen, again, you don't have to believe me. I can tell you from personal experience. Once you start practicing the Maoshan spirit fighting, the first set, second set, and third set, the lower, middle, and upper dantians, you start going into planes of power that you cannot find anywhere on this earth. And so anyway, I could go on and on about that, but you can check that out for yourself. So that's step number 2, is to do the 5 element spirit fighting forms. The third step is to do the hands of infinity, which we've been talking about. And that's called the first set. Now that can be found here at maoshan.thunderwizard.com. And of course, I recommend that you do that after you've done the 5 elements. So there's a lot of people out there who've done the 5 elements or have the 5 elements. You want to take it to the next step, go to the first step. So then another way that these practices work is you start practicing them, and they will feel awkward, they will feel challenging. And then when you've worked at them for a while and you hit a plateau, then you go to the next level. So you're not trying to master this and then go to the next level. You get enough understanding so you get the energy, then you go to the next level, and that will shift you up to another level. And then when you go back and do the previous exercises, they make sense. So this is how we do that. So we get the 5 elements, we practice them until we get them down or get comfortable with them. You can practice them for as long as you want, but once you get an idea of them, you can then move to the first set. You do the first set for a while, then you go back and the 5 elements become even more powerful. And when you get to a level where you are at a plateau of the first set, you move to the second set. So the second set is the butterfly hands. That would be the 4th step. And that, I'm going to have to make a video on what that set does, because it is the heart center is so multi-layered and so powerful, and there's so much spiritual power involved in truly opening and understanding the heart center. I can't do it justice by talking about it just for a couple minutes, but that's the next level that we get to, which is the 4th level. We do the butterfly hands spirit fighting set, or the second set. Then the 5th step of this entire process is to do the immortal fist. The immortal fist is also called the 3rd set. And that has to do with opening up the 3rd eye. Now it's actually, if you want to fight demons, you have to open the 3rd eye. I'm here to tell you that most people don't know what opening the 3rd eye is. It's not just being able to have psychic visions or see into other worlds, something far, far more powerful than that. It's connected to the pineal gland, and there's a deity in there, which would be the highest of the Trinity, because each one of these dantians represents the Trinity in the 3rd dimension. Whether you're looking, whatever tradition, there's always a Trinity. And so the highest of the Trinity in the Norse would be Odin. It would be like tapping and becoming Odin, that level of power. And this is where you get to fight demons. You have the power to destroy demons with your bare hands. So that is the next level, which is number 5, the immortal fist. And then step 6, we continue the practice of all of the previous 5 steps, and also continue to do the interdimensional meditation. So if I haven't mentioned that already, that is free, and we do that twice a week here. So if you come here every Wednesday and Saturday, we do the live guided interdimensional meditation. I'm looking for the picture for that. There it is. Do the live guided interdimensional meditations every Wednesday and Saturday live streamed at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you can't make it for the live stream, go to the live section on my channel. They're all archived there. You can just play those videos, put your headphones on, and I will guide you through it. So we keep doing that. Now, why do we do that? Because it's very important that we have a direct communication with the light beings that have channeled this information. So this is something that the Maoshan do, I think, at a level that nobody else does. And this is well known. If you're a Maoshan practitioner, you are somebody who seeks to have direct, personal interaction and communication with higher dimensional light beings, the immortals. This has been going on for 2,000 years, and this is why the Maoshan continues to evolve. It's not like, Moses who came, gave the 10 commandments and then left. It's not like that. They give you these practices, these techniques, and they continue to work with you, and they evolve the practice. So every Maoshan teacher always ends up evolving the practice, because as they continue to interact with the light beings will continue to teach more, and it will go off into different areas. So that's why, at the stage I'm at now, I have more practices and different practices than my teachers who came before me. So if you become one of these practitioners, you're going to work directly with these beings, and then you're going to come up with stuff, which is my goal. My goal is to hand you this technology, introduce you directly to the beings that are teaching me, and then you take it somewhere else. I'm not here to compete with anybody. I want everybody who does this to be better at it than I am. So I encourage you to allow yourself to expand to whatever degree you want. All right, so that's all of it right there. Those are the 6 steps: summoning the immortals, celestial qigong, warrior 90 day, and then we do 5 element spirit fighting forms. Then we do the hands of infinity, or the first set, the navel center. Then we do the butterfly hands, which is the second set, or the heart center. Then we do the immortal fist, which is the third set, or the third eye. And then we continue to do the practice of the previous 5 steps, and we continue to do interdimensional meditation. If I haven't already said so, you can start doing interdimensional meditation. That should actually be step 0. Okay, so step 0 is doing interdimensional meditation. And again, that's free. You can come on the channel. All of those practices, all those meditations are there for you. So that's it, my friends. I think I've made a video on each one of the 3 energy centers, the 3 dantians, and the practices that are associated with this higher level spirit fighting technology that I want to share with the world. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the comments section. If you're doing these practices, please speak up. Put your experience of these practices in the comments. Other people need to know. They need to know what your experiences are with this. And I'd love to hear from you. If you have questions and you want to know more about how you can get involved, what this is, put your question in the comments section. I read all the comments and I respond to all of them. So that's it, my friends. I love you all. Please be very good to yourselves. And until next time, please remember that you are the source. You are God. All right, that's it. I love you all.